Welcome to the Birdhouse podcast, where we talk about how to build a business, how to become a better version of ourselves, while we strive to fly up to the higher skies. My name is Alexander Guller, the CEO of the Birdhouse Agency, and I'm your host for this podcast. Welcome to the Birdhouse.
Hey guys, what's up? My name's Steven, and we're recording a podcast today, and I'm here with Alexander, who is going to be here always. So, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing great, and guys, welcome to the Birdhouse podcast. My name is Alexander Guller, and with me today I have Steven Wynne. So yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking, Steven, and I'm looking forward to the talk today.
Me as well.
Yeah. So, how has the 2 last weeks been for you?
Honestly, a little rough, but that's because I've had some medical stuff come up. I had some medical appointments. I've kept up with the goal of keeping customers satisfied and getting everyone satisfied on my end. The only thing for me is I have some TBI from some concussions, and so that's traumatic brain injury for you. And so I had a bunch of testing done last week, and my brain still hasn't fully recovered from that, oddly enough. And so it's harder to work each day, but that's life. So, but I'm still able to keep up with customers, still able to do all of that, but
that's
I have to take a few more breaks. So it's been a little rough, but I've still gotten done what I've needed to get done, which is good.
Cool. So,
how about yourself?
Yeah, well, I have also been quite busy because, as I said, I got an employee last time, and which I think is doing a great job, and I think he's doing amazing. But here in the beginning, there's always a lot of questions back and forth, so we are still getting to know each other, which is awesome. So that's really great, and I also did a lot of volunteering the last few weeks because there was a big event which I wanted to do, which was called March Against Loneliness, where a person walks around the whole Denmark, but he only walks as long as there's another person walking with him. So I think that was a really great event, especially after the COVID. So I really wanted to help that, but that took a lot of my time as well. So been quite busy. But it was quite fun. It was a good event, and it's the 4th year he does it. But of course, the last few years, this year is way more important because of COVID.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. How'd that event go? How long did you walk? Anything like that?
Oh. I don't know exactly what distance I walked, but I know I at least went for 9,000 steps before I was home. And some of my friends who walked with him the whole way from Billund to another city walked about 5 hours. I only walked 1 hour or something like that with him, which I think was plenty, but. It was 5
hours is a long time.
Yeah, 1 hour is a lot. 5 hours is a lot. Like he goes 1,500 kilometers over 50 days. That's 30 kilometers a day for 50 days. That's damn long.
That's ridiculous.
He also he has lost 17 kilograms since he began to warm up. Since he began the training, 17 kilograms is a lot.
That is.
So yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It really is. It's been a fun week, quite busy. Quite a lot of things I had to take care of. I think I managed, so I'm glad to have managed it. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So Steven, your question.
I was going to say, what's your biggest win this last couple weeks?
Well, as last time, the biggest win is getting my new VA, and also making this event happen. and also it was a big success because he was going to this to my town and also having dinner with us and sleeping over. So that was also why it took so long, because it was dinner, sleeping, and then walking in the morning. So yeah, that's been a big win for me, and also I've gotten a lot more of customer connection. I've talked to a lot more of customers, so I think that's clients, so that's great.
That's awesome.
I think my biggest loss is I'm still a bit behind from what I wanted to have done by now, but yeah, I should be able to catch up quite fast, but still needs a bit work to get done.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we'll just go back and forth with this. I'll do my biggest win as well. I think my biggest win was just getting connection and getting the referrals this last couple weeks. And so with that partner I'm with, they've just spoken very highly of me to other people. And so I'm getting 1 or 2 referrals a week, and then that will quickly ramp up in January and February when they actually start the business that they're doing, and hopefully getting 15, 20, 30 clients a month from that.
Yeah, sounds good.
So I think that's just my biggest win.
Yeah, and what about your biggest loss?
Biggest loss has just been how how foggy it's been, honestly. It's been hard to get more than about an hour of quality work a day. And so I've been able to get everything I need to get done in that hour. But beyond that, it's just my brain. It takes me about 4 times, 5 times as long as it usually does for me to do any specific business task.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
And that's probably the biggest loss.
Fair enough. I can
what
see
about yourself?
Well, I think
or if you want to continue on this, we can.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I think my biggest loss is actually how I am not at my schedule. I think I have overloaded myself in the past few weeks, and I think that's a big mistake. And so my biggest loss is I was totally stressed because I had a lot of things to do. So and while you're stressed, you just get more slowed down. So that I didn't think was quite fun. So what was your biggest lesson?
I think my biggest lesson is just patience, of not trying to rush into things too quickly, and actually, for me, getting my brain and body recovered. And because I'm very much a person that hates not doing anything. And so after the testing that I had last week, I just haven't been able to make myself do nothing to recover from that. And so I just my biggest thing is just patience in anything I'm doing, whether that's business, because I've been patient until now and finally got things ramped up. And then as soon as that happened, I haven't recovered. And so I just need patience within that.
All right.
How about yourself?
I think my biggest lesson is don't overload yourself. Because I have had to have too many points of focus. One day I had 5 different things I had to do, and one thing I worried about while I was doing another. So I was just overloading myself, and I actually found out that my body was actually telling me I was overloaded, I was stressed, because normally I don't forget stuff, minor things I don't forget, but the last few weeks, last few days, I have forgotten some things, and well, not big things, but my jacket or stuff like that, and I normally don't forget those. So that was quite. Don't overload yourself to the point where you can't do it anymore. It's fine to have a busy schedule, but it's way different when you have 5 to 10 pressing things each day, all the time. That's your brain can't handle it because you have to shift the focus way too many times. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
quite tough. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
well, Stephen, we want to talk about personalities in business and how we can use the disadvantages and advantages to our own benefit, and so on, and find out what kind of personalities do we want to talk about. We want to work with.
So, again, disclaimer before we talk about this topic: any personality can technically fit in any position. It's just most of the time they're not necessarily designed for it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, because like I might be an introvert, an ambivert, or whatever you want to say, and so like extrovert CEOs usually do better than introvert CEOs.
Yeah,
but both can work. It's just going to go in very different directions.
Definitely. I also think also the way that you think, like if you're really structured or if you're not really structured, or if you're really creative, like the creative people are really great at making new products and finding new ways to promote and stuff like that, where the very structured people and conservative people are very good at leading the company. So also one of the persons I listen a lot to, I don't think I can call him a mentor, but the person called John B. Peterson, which is a psychology professor, also speaks about like how liberals and conservatives, where liberals is the product producing people and the conservatives are the more structured.
Absolutely.
Conservatives are great at structuring and managing people, but the liberals can't. Like they produce a lot of great products, but they can't manage it as well. So like you need both of the people to make the good products and also like distribute it and manage the whole company. So yeah,
you definitely want to build a team around you that has different views as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people only get yes people.
Yeah.
And I'm a person that wants to hire yes and no people.
Yeah.
Because the yes people, it's like, okay, you just need a really quick thing done, go to them, hand them a yes. But like when you're in a decision meeting, you're like, hey, what should we do, say, for the logo? Do you guys like this logo, this logo, or this logo? There might be one that might be a little bit out there, but it might be better for the company that the no people might like more, and they might be able to convince you to that. And the yes people are like, oh, let's just go with the conservative option and that kind of thing.
Yeah, also like the person who says no is also like a reflection of the market, because not all ideas are great. So like it's good to have also some people that say no, because if they say no, you can guarantee that there's also other people that says no. So and it's better to like have the no first instead of producing 1,000 products and then trying to sell them, but nobody wants to buy it. So
yeah, absolutely,
a way cheaper option.
Absolutely. And a lot of it also goes into just, I guess, we touched a little bit on like liberals versus conservatives and how they think, but like even within that, you have different people that are geared towards art, geared towards logistics, geared towards all of that. And so there's a whole spectrum of, I guess, logical thinking versus creative thinking, and you need to hire everyone in helping support in every position.
Yeah, and also one of the other mentors I have, or role models, I would rather say, is called Simon Sinek, where he tells a story about how certain personality traits aren't just bad and good. It depends on the context. Where he is very disorganized, as he claims himself, and he was going to business networking event, and he got a card from another business, and 2 weeks later he found it under his table, and he tried to call him, and and because he waited 2 weeks, they wanted to work with him a lot more because they thought he was busy. So where a normal person would just get the card and go home and hey yo, let's meet up and show each other the products. because he lost the card and only found it 2 weeks later, they thought he was very busy, so they wanted to work with him even more. So it's also about turning the personality traits into helpful tools and away from obstacles. So also about knowing what is required and when what is a hindrance.
Yeah, like I'm just using my own my own stories for this. So the company I used to work for, we had two different owners that were in two very different mindsets.
Oh, yeah.
One was a very structured person. One was not structured. He would do anything to keep the business going another month rather than knowing when to quit. And so he never organized anything. Anytime he walked into the building, pallets would explode. There'd be items over here, items over there that no one would know what to do about. And then he would walk by and go, "Hey, I need this, this, and this done. I need this over there." And then expect us all to get it when none of us really heard or understood what he meant. But then the other person, on the other hand, was so structured and so strict that no one could work with him.
Oh, yeah.
And so we had both of those as the owners, which is a weird combination because you never know what the stores. Because if only one of them's in, it's a completely different vibe in the building than the other person.
Mm.
So you'd walk in and you'd be like, "Who's in? Owner one or owner two?" And based on that would be based on what projects I could work on and should work on, which shouldn't be a thing.
Well,
I just need to work on the projects that are highest priority rather than being like, okay, whose priority is this and whose priority is this?
Yeah.
And myself and the other manager were split down in the middle. And we were kind of trying to pull them closer to each other because they disagreed on a lot of things, but when they worked together, things worked really well because the unorganized person had a lot more creative ideas and the person that was more structured had a very much more conservative ideas. And so when we'd pull them together and they'd actually work together well, we had great sales. But whenever it was just one of their ideas, the sales usually did not go well.
Talking about opposites meeting. They equal out until the middle, yeah.
Yeah, and so the other manager I was working with was a yes person for one person, and I was just a no person overall. I was very much we're not going to work on this unless we absolutely need this. Mm. And I annoyed the absolute living daylights out of both of them, but I was hired to do that, and I was the only person in the company that could do that safely without risking my job, which is also not a great thing. But it was also when I sat in meetings, it would just be like, "Hey, we have this idea and this idea," and I'd be like, "I like it. Let's shift directions a little bit to actually make this work."
Yeah.
So
it's also about knowing what your brand is working for. What is the big vision for the brand? Because all of the products and items needs to go through the brand first.
Yeah.
And also the targeted audience. That's the only way to get a good product. If what the product projects is the same thing as the brand projects, that's the only way to get a good product.
And so on our products, we actually got the most random products because have you ever seen the people unboxing Amazon pallets on YouTube or things like that?
Yeah.
Well, we'd buy 50 of those at once.
Oh.
And we had a retail and e-commerce store. And so I worked in the e-commerce store because I worked IT and systems, and that's where I shone. And so I set up how we did all of that. Mm-hmm. And then the guy who ran retail would grab stuff out of the pallets, and then anything that couldn't sell in retail, we'd put on e-commerce.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
And so we kind of figured out pretty quickly that niche stuff sells very well on eBay, not good to store.
Okay, okay. Well, that's a good lesson to learn.
Hmm. So
Uh,
it took us a few months to get that down, but
well, yeah. Well, you also need to get enough data to understand it, like
hmm
to be absolutely sure.
yeah.
So yeah, so I think it's really great. I think it's really important to knowing what personalities you want to work with, and also
Hmm.
who you want to work under. Well, who you want to be working under you. So you have like the advantages of both personalities.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
You want to build a team that is smarter than you are
yeah,
as well.
exactly.
Because I don't know everything. You don't know everything. I sure hope not.
Well, I know I have a big
um,
brain, but still.
um, but like if you're the smartest person in the room, especially as an owner, get out of there. Like because you need to hire people that are smarter in areas that you're not. You might be the smartest in certain areas, but like if you're overall like outshining everyone, why do you need anyone in there?
Yeah, yeah, you,
And
you,
so
you, you don't learn
hire
stuff. Yeah.
if you have a CMO or a CFO or a CTO, hire somebody who is smarter in those specific areas than you are.
Mm.
Because you're the person who's supposed to be putting them all together, not the person making every decision.
Exactly. Ty Lopez, do you know him?
I have not heard of him.
Ty
That
Lopez,
I
never.
might recognize. What?
Have you never heard of Ty Lopez?
I mean, look.
Well, he was the guy who got famous because he got a Lamborghini next to a bookshelf while holding a
Oh,
phone. Like,
yes.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Uh,
No,
but
I
but
recognize him.
but one of the principles he has and sticks to is the 33%, where he explains he spends 33% of his time with people above him,
Mm,
33% with people that are his peers, and 33% to people like under him in the educational wise, and where he explains like the top ones you learn a lot from, but like the middle ones you test them out, and the last ones you like have fun, feel good, and maybe
yep.
maybe also like
And
test them out, like because if you can tell them and they understand it means you understood it, the idea.
absolutely. Also, sometimes I know I don't want to again insult anyone's intelligence by saying this, but like if you have people that are smarter than you, usually they're less creative, and so their ideas. I've seen this pattern at least personally.
Sure.
The smarter you in certain areas, the smarter you are, the less creative you are, and
Mm.
so people who are like math geniuses aren't necessarily going to have like a creative design. They're going to be creative within their own field. But if you will also learn, I've learned as much like as a being with people who are less smart than you because they'll usually have more out there ideas.
Okay.
Even if they don't work, you might be like, I see where you're getting at. I'll take it to my other group and we'll modify it to work.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sure.
And
Well,
so,
I'm
yeah,
not sure on the statistics, but sure if that's your experience. Yeah.
yeah. And so like with that, I'm just gonna expand a little bit on this.
Sure.
The usually people with have you ever seen the show what's it called Scorpion
No.
or heard of it?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
it's
Well, Scorpion. That's like the 160 IQ
yes,
detectives group, right?
yeah. If you look at that group, like yes, they come up with solutions and some of them are slightly out there, but like a lot of them aren't very creative. They sit there and they'll spin their wheels on the same idea because they're trying to think of all the different variations of that one idea rather than moving on. Because usually the reason they're not creative is because they're stubborn and perfectionists. And so, I'm gonna use my one of my best friends. He got a on an ACT. He got a 35 composite his freshman year, He's one of the smartest dudes that I know. But if you ever ask him to help you design a solution or something like that, he is not the person I'm going to go to. But if I ever need help with like, okay, I need to sort my books with accounting, he is the person that I'm going to.
Well, I think that's just being smart in different ways.
Yes. But the thing is like, he's not creative and like, he's not going to think of the out there solutions because he has so much knowledge that he thinks he has the right solution. So he's not going to be able to think outside of that. Because how smart you are, you create your own box. Weirdly enough, of the knowledge that you know is the only knowledge you can handle, and usually the smarter you are, the more afraid you are to get outside that box.
Sure, I can't say I have had that experience as well, but I think there's definitely some truth to it. Sure,
yeah.
Maybe I just haven't thought about it. Like, yeah, okay, cool.
I might be completely off, but that's at least my personal experience in it.
Yeah, well, that's also like the fun part about learning. Sometimes you have a perception of things which turns out to be wrong, and it's like, fucking no, I was quite wrong, but I'm learning.
It might be skewed because of the people I hang out with or whatever.
Oh yeah, well, we are quite malleable, like human beings.
You say we're quite malleable?
Oh, sorry?
Do you say malleable?
No, malleable. Like.
Oh, okay. I thought you said malleable. I'm like, we're talking about relationships here.
Are we talking about a relationship? If we are talking about relationships, I think you're the only one that can like actually provide something because I'm still fucking single.
Sadly, I've had a few relationships, but
well, I'm having fun. I'm seeing.
Enjoy single while you have it, because once you start dating, once you get married, you'll want to spend way more time than you should with the other person.
Well, I think that's also the beautiful part about it. But yeah. I think so.
But it'll also pull you away from work more, unless if you set up those clear boundaries.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I think I'll take that when the time comes.
Yeah, I'm enjoying where I'm at with the relationship I'm at now, but yeah,
it's also about finding a balance between it. Like as you said, calling out the boundaries. Like when is enough? Because like you're not fully integrated in each other's lives, and you will probably never will be. You get closer and closer to being fully integrated with each other while you're in the relationship, but you still have two different lives at some point. So it's also like two individuals coming together. There's also different dreams and goals and mindsets. That it's a lot of work, but as Dave Chappelle calls it, it's a relationship is no, it's not Dave Chappelle, it's another one. But it's relationships are only hard when one person is working on it.
Absolutely.
So if both persons are working on it, it's way more fun. At least I think so. I think that's quite true.
Yeah, like I've told my girlfriend, I'm like, if I need to take a call or something while we're together, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like unless we're on like a 1 year anniversary, a wedding or something like that. Like I'm gonna step away and take a call, or I'm gonna just take a call while we're in the car or while we're on the couch together or whatever. Just because I'm like, I need to continue my business, and this is where my dream is. And in order to get to my dreams, I want you to be a part of it, but I'm not gonna see you as like an obstacle I have to get over.
Yeah, and also like if you have to build your dream, you also have to make tough decisions, and sometimes those tough decisions aren't fun to be a part of when you're the partner. But at the same time, when you're doing those tough decisions, you're also setting up the future lives of both of you. So,
yep.
Yeah, that back to the old melody of instant gratification versus delayed gratification. So, yeah.
Yep. So it's very much a thing where you have to balance the gratification part of it.
Oh yeah.
Because Because it's like, okay, I want to spend all my time with my girlfriend because she makes me happy. She like makes me feel better. Like I love just being with her. But at the same time, I'm like, if I want to be able to support you in this business, I need to work on this business.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, example, it's like, okay, I want to get married a year from now. I'm making enough to say scrape by right now. If I continue like spending 24 hours with you and not working, I'm not going to grow that at all.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a tough marriage. But if I'm like, hey, I can hang out with you 1, 2, like even if you say like 3 evenings a week, as long as it's like not a super extended amount of time, or while you're with each other, I want you guys both could work on stuff, because that also needs to be in the relationship, being able to work together in the same room, because I personally struggle with that just because I get distracted. But if it's like, okay, I'm making $5K in the business now a month, I want to be making $30K, so my take home pay is enough to support both of us easily by the time we get married.
Yeah. I think that's a great goal to have.
Yeah.
For both of you.
So it's just a thing of, if you define that in the relationship before, you also won't have an argument over that.
Yeah.
It won't be a tension spot. Anything you talk about before and you're on the same page. Now, if you're on different pages, if you're finding that compromise, there'll always be a little bit tension there. But if you're both on the same page about it, then there's not very much tension. Like with the girlfriend I have now, we've talked through physical, emotional, business, spiritual boundaries within all of that, and we're both on the same page, so there hasn't been any tension in any of those areas. And if there is, it's like, hey, I'm not comfortable with this, and then the other person usually says, cool, we'll add that into our boundary. And so within that, it's just very much just, I guess, a joint thing there. And you need to do the same within business, of setting those boundaries from home and work and all of that. Because eventually, once you have a family, you're not going to be wanting to take work home every single day.
Yeah, true. And I think that's a good lesson to learn early on, because so that you are aware of it and can handle it early on, instead of when it becomes instead of handling it when it becomes an actual problem.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So. So, cool. What's your goal for the next week?
Let's see, this next week, let me actually look at my schedule. Well, I'm meeting with my dad, who's an investor in the company right now, tomorrow. So hopefully getting a little more money to play with, because I've been very much scraping by recently. And so there's a few things that I want to do. And so I guess my goal is to do that and get another client by next week. That's kind of my goal right now.
Cool.
Which I think both of those are very attainable. Nice.
You also want to get the attainable goals.
Yes.
You get the dopamine. Dopamine is fun.
Absolutely. I run off of dopamine and adrenaline. I have such bad ADHD as well. I get so hyper fixated on things. It's so funny. But yeah, how about yourself?
Well, first of all, my goal is to getting back on track. I think I have lost. I wasn't probably scheduled the last few weeks, but right now I am, and also the training program I'm doing right now with the meal plan. I have prepared the next 5 days of meals, so. All in except for breakfast, at least, but so that takes a lot off my plate time with the time. So I think I'm getting back on my week with several of my goals, and also catching up on what I need to get done. So that's definitely one of my goals, at least. And also I think. A client it could be coming around quite soon, so but it's not. I haven't got them on a call yet, but I think it's just around the corner. So
it's awesome.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yep. So next week you want to be back on schedule, back on all your plans, and hopefully meeting with that client.
Exactly. Definitely.
Sweet.
So
Great. So next week or next time we meet, I will keep you accountable to that.
sounds good, and I will also keep you accountable for your goal of trying to get the investor and the new client. Oh. So, so before we finish off, Steven, where can we find you?
So you can find me Winning Capital on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I only have like 2 videos up on TikTok now, but I want to get to posting a video a day on there would be my goal.
Sounds good. I will also hold you accountable on that goal. So
that one might not happen by next week, but
well, I hopefully you have some progress towards that at least.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. How about yourself? Where do you find you?
Well, right now you can find me on Instagram at the Birdhouse Agency, and on Spotify at the Birdhouse Podcast, and on Apple Podcast at the Birdhouse Podcast. So
awesome.
Thanks for listening, everybody, and I will see you the next time.
Great. See you guys.
See you.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Birdhouse Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, follow me on my Instagram at the Birdhouse Agency and share it to your friends and family, or rate it on Apple Podcast or Anchor. My name is Alexander Gulager, and I will see you at the next episode.